Tonight's Lightning broadcast on Sun Sports is presented by your Tampa Bay area BMW centers.
Let's take a look at tonight's starting goaltenders delivered by Papa John's Pizza. And we have 2 of the 3 goalies in the league that are tied in 4th place with those 23 wins. Miller going against Bishop. The 3rd, of course, Carey Price in Montreal. John Cooper behind the bench for the Lightning. As you see his numbers he's put up in a little over 2 years, actually. And the newcomer, Willie Desjardins, in his first season with the Canucks, and has got them off and flying with a tremendous start here this season.
The veteran crew working this game. Paul Dvorsky handles the opening faceoff. Dan O'Halloran works with him. Steve Barton, Tim Nowak, the linesman. As the Lightning open with Valtteri Filppula, flanked by Steven Stamkos and Ryan Callahan. The puck ends up out of play behind the penalty boxes, and on defense, it's Victor Hedman and Anton Stralman as we look at the injuries and scratches, and a big focus on the defense, Chief.
Was it ever? Gudas and Carl out with long-time injuries. Barberio and Brown, the coach's decisions. Brad Richardson out for the Canucks. He's out with a lower body injury.
Anton Stralman with a puck, moving it to Steven Stamkos. Canucks force the Lightning back. Stralman checked in there by Daniel Sedin. And it's played by Victor Hedman off the glass to center. Bouncing puck. And Callahan chops it in. Frank Corrado getting to it. Henrik Sedin ahead for Daniel. The Twins working with Radim Vrabada, briefly a member of the Lightning. He's fit right in with these guys, as we talked about in the open. Steven Stamkos goes down, loses the puck to Alex Edler. Chris Tanev with a pass. It's tipped into the Lightning zone. Andre Schuster after it. He's paired with Jason Garrison, a member of the Canucks for 2 years before he was traded to the Lightning on the first day of the entry draft last summer. Puck deflected in by Nikita Kucherov getting to it. Works against Tanev. Down he goes. Jannik Hansen picks it up. As the Canucks race back to center, Derek Dorsett shoots it in. Ben Bishop coming off a 40-save performance in the shootout win over the Avalanche. And the Lightning net out to play that puck as Andre Palat hands it to Hedman, shooting, fires wide. And behind the net, it's taken by Tanev.
Boy, he had that top corner on the stick side as well.
Luke Witkowski, number 53, his first shift in the National Hockey League. As Paul told you, the details, it's been a long climb for him playing at Western Michigan University. Second year with the Syracuse Crunch. Brett Conley stick handles in. He'll take on Kevin Bieksa. Alex Killorn has the puck. He's bumped into as Conley going back for it. Checked by Bieksa. Jack Cassian caught up to, and Witkowski has that puck at center. He'll slide it back in deep in the Vancouver zone.
He tried to hit Conley on the wing there. Boy, this is a very quick start for both teams.
Bieksa couldn't get it by Nikita Nesterov, and his try was steered away by Miller. Killorn bumps with Bieksa. Puck left. Nick Bonino in there for it. With the puck to Lucas Spiza. They both came from Anaheim in the offseason. That big trade for Ryan Kessler. Brian Boyle with a shot that's blocked. The Canucks move it out to center. Sean Mathias hits the deck. Boyle takes over. His pass right on the mark to Jonathan Drouin. Coming off the wing. Cuts to the middle and shoots. And he hit Brendan Morrow. His teammate driving the net. Morrow double team. Alex Burrows has it. Harrison back. Pass off the skates of Morrow once again. Boyle slides it up the boards and out.
I'll tell you what, Rick, we played over 3 minutes and haven't had hardly any whistles.
Harrison rifles it around for Filppula. Andre Schuster getting to it. Taps it up the boards. That puck will leave the zone. And Dan Hamhuis just recently returned. He had a torn groin muscle, missed 22 games, his 3rd game back tonight. And they're happy to have him back on the defense. Their defense relatively healthy, unlike the Lightning's. Tanev lines it back around to the corner. Chris Higgins in there, cut off by Schuster. Filppula heads up ice. Steven Stamkos had his 4-game goal-scoring streak ended by the Avs the other night. Tanev cuts off the pass intended for Ryan Callahan, who's had 3 goals in his last 4 games. So Lightning have had Goals from 13 different players the last 9 games, and Willie Desjardins enjoying the same kind of balance scoring on this winning streak. They've scored 9 goals, and 8 players have done the scoring.
Boy, does that ever help your team when that happens? You don't have to rely on 1 or 2 guys.
Tyler Johnson ahead for Andre Palat. Palat closing into Kucherov, shooting, and it's off Miller and just went wide. In an open side, he ended up hitting Miller and it nearly slipped in. Here's Hedman shooting, and Miller with a glove save. He'll hang on.
Well, it took just over 4 minutes to get the first shot on goal, and it was a dandy. Watch how it's fed up right here. He shot it right away. He was trying to catch Miller coming across, and he was going back the way, and it kind of rolled off the blade of his stick. It had such spin on it that it spun right out from underneath him and into the far corner.
Didn't know Cooch had a forkball in his repertoire.
Yeah, shoot to the power, let it drift away.
Yeah, it works with those right-hand hitters. Back for the puck, Nesterov. Played in by Dorsett. Nesterov now in his 7th NHL game. He's a grizzled veteran compared to Witkowski making his debut tonight. Witkowski, the 4th Lightning player to make his NHL debut this season, along with Jonathan Drouin and Andrei Vasilevsky. And, of course, Nesterov. Bieksa. Long-time member of this Canucks defense. Pass out to center. No icing, and Bishop out to move the puck along around for Cedric Paquette. We saw that hit coming from Dorsett. Here comes Conley to center. Couldn't get it behind the defense. Hamhuis. He sends it off the stick of Bonino, blocked by Witkowski. And the Lightning force the play the other direction. Corrado over for it, brought up from Utica, the American League. He was a 5th rounder from 2011, taken 8 picks ahead of Nikita Nesterov in that 5th round. Sean Mathias checked along the boards. Boyle in there for it. It gets by Tanev, but off his stick, so the Canucks have to play it. Morrow right on the heels of Hamhuis, who went sliding into the boards, and Morrow steps away with a puck. Drouin trying to dig it free. Burrows controls. Chopped away by Nesterov. Hamhuis trying to get it by Boyle, could not. Anna steals. Schuster's shot is blocked by Tanev. Well, the Canucks were literally boxed into a corner there.
Well, that's such an important thing when we talked about it, because that 3rd man was high, allowed Nesterov to pinch down, keep play inside that zone.
Tanev off the stick of Burrows, deflecting into the Lightning zone. And Bishop out to play it. He was so solid in the win over Edmonton. And then spectacular in that shootout win over the Avs. Would be quite a matchup in goal tonight, the way Miller's been playing. Callahan to Stamkos, firing a blocker save by Miller. And Henrik Sedin fired it right to Philp, but a fed in front. Stamkos tried to finish the move. Down he goes. He got hooked by Edler, and slashing will be the call. Couldn't finish the move, but he draws a penalty and a Lightning power play coming up.
Tampa Bay on the power play as we remain scoreless here in the first period on one of our viewer appreciation sweepstakes nights. Follow along with what I'm about to share with you, because it's going to enter you to win something pretty incredible. You're going to want to hop on Twitter and tweet to our handle at @SunSportsBolts with the hashtag #TuneInBolts. And just by doing that, you'll be entered to win 4 tickets to January 31st game against Columbus, a signed mini hockey stick, and some Sun Sports gear. It's literally that easy. We'll announce the winner in our post-game show, so stay tuned throughout the night. Again, it's hashtag #TuneInBolts to @SunSportsBolts, guys.
Kelly, thanks very much. As the Lightning get started on this power play, the Canucks, an outstanding penalty-killing team, a little under 88% on the season, 2nd in the league. They're best on the road in the NHL, and they're trying to hold off an improving Lightning power play. As the Lightning on this Toyota power play opportunity get Anton Stralman down the boards to Kucherov, bats the puck with a high stick. Palat touches it, and that means the faceoff comes all the way back to the Lightning zone. That's the case when you're on the power play and 30 seconds gone.
I'll tell you what, Bieksa does a great job there not touching the puck. If nobody touches it, they eventually will blow the play dead. But seeing the Lightning wanting to not lose precious seconds off that power play opportunity, they decided to make sure that they got the whistle.
Here's the veteran defenseman, Kevin Bieksa. A lot of hard miles on players like Bieksa. Chief of the way they play, their style. Here comes Hedman, leading it for Conley. Edler in the box for slashing at 6:55. Lightning on the power play, 18.9%. Had only one opportunity. It came in the first minute of the game against the Avs the other night. Ryan Callahan scored on it. He's got the puck. Plays it back to Hedman. Nice play. Waits. Passes back to Callahan. And it's broken up by Tanev. The impressive young defenseman for the Canucks cleared out. Bishop rifles it back to Filppula with the Lightning trying to take advantage of Vancouver changing shorthanded. Killorn walks it in. He'll shoot. And it's deflected out of play.
Well, you know what? So many times I've watched Alex Killorn, and guys think they got him all lined up for a big hit. Bieksa thought he had a big hit there. And when they hit him, it's like hitting a brick wall. They go down, and the look of surprise on their face is priceless.
The Back in Black 4-game plan presented by Chase scores you any 4 Saturday home games and a free Ryan Callahan Reebok official player t-shirt. Call 813-301-6600 or visit TampaBayLightning.com. Tyler Johnson, Nick Bonino on this faceoff. 46 seconds to go on the Edler penalty. Stamkos will step in. Bieksa back for Hamhuis. They'll skim it back wide of Bishop. Lightning power play at home has been very good. They're over 22% in the season now. And 8 of the last 39. So that's a little better than 20%. Slowly climbing back up the ladder. Here's Johnson. Playing it back to Stroman. Higgins on him. Johnson couldn't grab the pass. Hamhuis fires it right to Palat. Johnson. Now to Stamkos, whirled and fired, trying to hook up with Palat. It's cleared out of play. 8 seconds left on the penalty.
Stroman thought that he got it below the shoulder, but Dvorsky said no, the stick was a little bit above shoulder height. They've done a good job of controlling the face-off circle, getting it in the offensive zone, but they haven't been able to get any shots through to Miller.
All 3 shots in the game belong to Tampa Bay. Lightning control that face-off. Here comes Filppula. Edler's set to come back. Canucks have killed the penalty. We're scoreless as we hit the 9-minute mark. Filppula in the corner. Back to Callahan. Leading it, Witkowski shoots. That's blocked as Stamkos is paired off with Tanev. Filppula couldn't get one through, and now will try, and he fires off Lucas Sbisa wide. Callahan belted in the corner. Puck comes in front. Fed back out to Witkowski. Over to Garrison. Quick release, and that bounced off Callahan, and it's covered by Miller.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's keys, brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. And one of the things that you'd really like to have is a good start. So far, that's happened. And so much of the Lightning's defense is that third man high in the offensive zone, or as the coaches like to refer to it, F3, meaning forward 3. No matter what position he is, whether he's a winger or a centerman, they need that guy high. That allows your defense to pinch in, or if he's not high, they have to back off, so you lose a lot of your forechecking pressure.
Hamhuis trying to get a stick free. Hounded by Morrow. Puck left for Frankie Corrado. Pass out at center. Schuster reacting to that. Canucks force back. Sedins are on. The Lightning going with Boyle and company against them. Corrado lugs it to center. He'll flip it in. Puck bounced in front, and Bishop merely reaches down to cover it up and get a whistle.
Very calmly reaches down, and Bishop's had a pretty good record against this Vancouver club in his career. He's only played them 3 times, but he's won all 3 of the games, and he's got a .922 save percentage to boot, so he's had some pretty good success against Vancouver, even though it's been limited.
Canucks started the year 3-0. And their first home game was against the Lightning, October the 18th. Bishop and Tampa Bay, led by Steven Stamkos with 2 goals and an assist, won that game 4-2 on October the 18th. That started that 5-game Western Canada trip for Tampa Bay. And they came home 3-2 off that trip. Certainly a downside in that game in Vancouver. Victor Hedman blocked a shot, broke his finger, and missed 18 games. Lightning facing, I should say, a similar set of circumstances here now with Carl out 6 to 8 weeks with the torn adductor muscle, and Radko Gudas with a knee surgery. He's out for, we think, the rest of the regular season. Schuster back with the puck. Chased off the play by Rabada. Puck left there. Daniel Sedin trying to get to it. Garrison controls. Out for Nikita Kucherov. Good pass to Palat. However, stepping into him was Lyndon Vey off the bench, and that's going to be a too many men on the ice penalty to Vancouver. Another Lightning power play.
Steven Stamkos in Tampa Bay set to go on the power play. The captain in his career has scored 267 goals. He has won the Rocket Richard Award twice. He is now a 3-time All-Star. He scored his very first goal against the goaltender he faces this evening in Ryan Miller. Back in October of 2008, the 9th game of Stammer's rookie season. It came in Buffalo. Steven would score twice that night, Rick and Chief. The first of 51 games that Stamkos has registered 2 or more, including 8 hat tricks. And he says he has no reason to point toward his success against Miller through years gone by, other than it's just coincidence. Well, here he's got the advantage of the power plays. He fires away once again.
So I think you're trying to say, PK, that Miller unleashed a monster.
Lightning on back-to-back opportunities with that bench penalty for too many men on the ice. Nikita Kucherov handing it now to Tyler Johnson. Johnson getting it back from Anton Stralman. Down to Filppula. Palat. Right in front of the net. Pardon me, Stamkos over in that far corner, and it's cleared out. Of course, Glenn Hanlon, longtime goalie and former Caps head coach chief, had that great line. He gave up Wayne Gretzky's first book. I created a monster.
Exactly.
In fact, I think he was with Vancouver when he did it. Here's Palat firing in front, and it's blocked by the hard-scramble defenseman, Kevin Bieksa.
Boy, they're very aggressive on the penalty kill. You can see where they've been very effective at it. They give the power play team very little time and space to make plays.
Kucherov gone 8 games without a goal. He started the season 8 games without a goal. Got the puck right now and fires. Miller is saved, and it's cleared away by Mathias.
That's their first shot on a power play. They got no shots the first time. That's the very first one that they picked up.
Brett Conley circles back. Chris Higgins works with Bonino on the penalty killing unit for Vancouver. Here's Filppula with speed hitting that Vancouver line, dropping it back. Killorn had it poked away. The race is on. And Killorn catching up to Bonino. Separates him from the puck. Edler steps into the point for Vancouver out in front. Bonino with it, turns, goes forehand, and it's off Hedman wide. 16 seconds to go on the call. Being served by Rabada. Conley. He cuts in. Killorn trailed by Henrik Sedin. Back for Conley out of his reach. We'll try to track it down there with a pair of Canucks on him. Out of the box comes Rabada. Canucks have survived 2 short-handed situations. Filppula couldn't get organized there to take that pass. Disrupted by Hamhuis. Here's a shot by Conley off the outside of the post. Conley has it back in front for Killorn, just out of his reach. Henrik Sedin slowed up enough by the reach of Schuster, and that allows the Lightning to get right back on the attack. Sent off Schuster in deep in the Lightning zone. Garrison ahead of Daniel Sedin. It's back of the point. Burrows in the slot. That pass at his skates. There's a try by Bieksa that's deflected wide. Henrik Sedin trying to wheel out in front. Schuster wouldn't let him go to the forehand. Paquette has it. He'll push it in. Drouin paired with him. Bieksa leaving it for Burrows. Long pass ahead for Higgins. Edman defends him well, carries him to the boards, has support. However, the Canucks arrive on the scene. It's played back to Edler. Chris Tanev delays, now shoots. Paquette blocked it. Burrows, down he goes. Nesterov reaching for the puck. Tough to get a handle on it here in the early going. Lyndon Bay with a try that's blocked by Hedman. Paquette trying to chop it up the boards. Tanev pinching in. Backed up by Bay. Here's Edler, looks at the net, fires, and he cranks it over the glove of Bishop off the glass. Edler once again, he'll shoot, and it's wide as Higgins went for the deflection and missed.
Boy, the first time they've even had any kind of pressure at all on the Lightning in this first period.
Still looking for that first shot. It's fired from the corner on goal. Bishop has stopped there, and he'll hold the puck with Dorsett driving the net. And Witkowski, what were we saying this morning, Chief? Maybe Witkowski will have a date with Dorsett at some point tonight. It almost happened here in the early going. No score in this one.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's GMC big matchup. And you're looking at Steven Stamkos, and it's the most career points per game, active players that is, against any opponent. And you see Stamkos against these Canucks averaging 2.17 points a game. You see Crosby of the Predators, Stamkos again against the Blackhawks, and Malkin against the Maple Leafs.
Thought we were seeing double there for a second.
For a minute. I didn't know he had a twin.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Rough enough on goalies that the Sedins are twins. Witkowski. He's on with Jason Garrison. Associate coach Rick Bowness met with the media this morning. He wasn't going to commit to any firm pairs on the defense chief with the inexperience back there. Miller making a stop on Garrison. Paquette emerges with a puck, helped out by Conley. Andrews heads for the corner. Hemmed in there by Killorn. Strong forecheck early on for the Lightning chief.
Well, they've been really using their body checks more, too. They're really leaning on heavy on the Vancouver players in their own zone. That's really helped them a lot, as you see there.
Finally getting tangled up with Hansen. Spiza steps ahead. He'll dump it in the Lightning zone. Now it's fired in on goal, and Bishop has stopped there. The new Tampa Bay Lightning app is finally here and available for download. Get breaking news first. Special offers, discounts, seat upgrades, contests, and expand your social interaction with the team.
Well, they've gotten a couple of pretty good opportunities. They got two shots, very innocent shots, but they've had a little bit more zone time, Vancouver, now. Well, they got two-man short situations, and Lightning really had one of the best forechecks going since for the last few games.
Here's Stamkos trying to speed through a couple of Canucks. Vancouver in a 5-game trip. They had a back-to-back earlier in the trip, and that's where Miller had 2 shutouts in 2 days, the first Canucks goaltender to do that since Ken Lockett in 1975. As they shut out the Flyers and Hurricanes. Now they've got another set of back-to-backs, very similar to what the Lightning have had on a couple of 5-game trips this year. And that second back-to-back, that second game, Chief, that's a tough one.
Boy, is it ever.
Out in front, Rabada shooting, saved by Bishop.
This is exactly what we talked about with this line. They'll circle and cycle in around the corner, and then they'll spring that guy loose. You must interrupt that cycle. You can't let them keep doing it. That stick checking you. What you do is you just take a guy out along the wall. Hold him there. When they're fighting for it. That eliminates that cycle. Now you got one guy out of the cycle. You only have 2 left. But if you keep allowing those 3 guys to cycle that puck, you're going to have a very wide open shot like Vrbata had there.
Tough year for Vrbata when he was with the Lightning. His wife was going through a difficult pregnancy. He ended up going back to the Czech Republic. And came back. He's done a lot of scoring with Vancouver. He's doing very well, or I should say with Arizona. Now he's doing a good job with the Canucks. There's a shot that's blocked in front by Schuster. And the puck played out by Palat. Knocked down by Spiza. Tyler Johnson trying to spin away. Pass ahead off Matthias' stick. We got a jolt from Nesterov. Witkowski there for it. And Nesterov. Away comes Johnson. Bucks waiting at that line, backed off by the speed of Johnson as he centers all the way back to Garrison. Johnson again, curls to the middle. That's broken up at the defense by Vey. He gets the puck back. He'll lug it in, the former LA King. Raiders junior hockey for Willie Desjardins with Medicine Hat. 4 years playing for his current coach. In fact, Desjardins with a recommendation on getting him from the Kings and putting him on the power play. Lyndon Vey getting to the puck. Down to Burroughs. Vey has it. And a wheel in front. Kucherov won't hear of that. Boyle steps into his man. Vey battling Boyle. And the Lightning stay with it along the boards and force it out.
Good big checks along the wall, and that's what stopped the cycle.
As Higgins releases the shot, we get the whistle and the offside call. 2:08 to go here in the first period.
Hey, Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey on Sun Sports is brought to you by Hat Tricks Tavern. Talk about it so many times, but it's such a great place to start your night before you come to the game, even watching the game if you can't get a ticket, or else just end up there after the game's all over. Make sure you try the shake and bake wings, though, no matter what time you try.
Paquette chased in there by Bo Horvat, who's 19 years old. He scored their winning goal last night. Both their goals came in the first period. Here's a shot by Horvat, stopped by Bishop, looking for the puck, and skating off of it, Alex Killorn. Horvat centering this line with Hansen and Dorsett, and the puck deflected by Drouin down the ice. They get an icy call.
Boy, the big scrum in front of the net, and sometimes you can't really find the puck. Everybody's trying to complete it out of there. It was blocked in front. Ben trying to grab it underneath the Strawman, and it just kind of squirted off to his left, and then very, very quickly, Alex Killorn got in there and grabbed it and brought it out of trouble. But as quickly as the Lightning had all the power in the first 15 minutes, the last 3 or 4 minutes, it's all been Vancouver.
They've lamented some slow starts, got off to a quick one, as we mentioned, with the 2 goals last night. Turns out that's all they needed to win that game 2-1. Ryan Miller finally having a shutout streak ended with about 2.5 minutes to go in the game. And his streak surpassed 200 minutes, 200 minutes, 45 seconds. Icing the call now against Vancouver with 1:16 to go in the period. Stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda Dealers first intermission report. Paul Kennedy chatting with Victor Hedman outside the Lightning locker room. We'll have sounds of the game with Tyler Johnson. He was pretty, as Paul said, chatty during the warm-up. Highlights and stats with Dave Andreychuk, Stanley Cup captain, joining us on the telecast tonight.
Well, Vancouver never had a very good game against Florida as far as the face-off circle was concerned. See if the Lightning can take advantage of that.
Well, they won only 38% against the Panthers. Henrik Sedin with a pass off BX's stick. Knocked down at the line by Schuster. However, Vrbata has it. Fired by Henrik toward the net, blocked by Schuster, who's had a very active and productive first period. Play comes to center with under a minute to go. Stamkos trying to grab that pass in tight. Around for Schuster. Filppula managed to lift Vrbata's stick, almost walked away with the puck. Spiza has it, and his pass was blocked by Schuster. Stamkos working behind the net, occupying Spiza and Bieksa, joined by Filppula. Pass is stolen, and Daniel Sedin gets to the red line. He'll dump it in. Canucks changing 25 seconds to go before the intermission. The shot's only 6-4 Lightning. Tyler Johnson whips around that net, speeding to center. He was stopped, though. Bonino got it away. Kucherov getting it back to Johnson. Edler stepped up on him, took him down. We're going to get a penalty. 7.1 seconds to go in the period, and Edler heads off for the second time, this time for tripping.
Got Vancouver penalty, 2 minutes for Tripp.
That's what happens when you have great quickness. You make that one little move and that first step, and that disrupts the timing of that defensive watch. He's trying to get him, and then he got just a little bit of the puck, but he also got Johnson's feet to pick up that minor call. 1952 will be the time of the penalty.
Well, we talked, Chief, about the strength of that early power play goal against the Avs, scored before we hit the 2-minute mark, and what it did for this team's confidence. Now here, no score in the game, and they've got 3 power play chances in the first period. As Burrows gets rid of it, that'll do it for period number 1. Your thoughts as to the importance of this?
Well, that's the thing. You know, when you get that many power plays, it's going to start to even out no matter what happens. And they had a lot of zone time, but they didn't get too many shots through, six to be exact, and only 1 on the man advantage.
Sports fans, there's a new way to get all your Florida sports gear. Introducing TampaBaySports.com, your new online store to get Lightning, Bucks, Rays, Bulls, Gators, and Seminoles merchandise. Here's the view from the party deck as the fans fortifying themselves for what should be a great second period here, Chief. The shots only 6-4, no score in this game, but the Lightning have been playing so many tight hockey games here in this stretch of winning 7 in a row at Arena, and they're going against probably the best road team right now, and certainly one of the best road records all season. And
a very good road penalty kill. They don't give up very many shots on the penalty kill. I think they're 4th in the league for the fewest amount of shots given up on a power play. So they've done a very good job. The Lightning had but 1 shot on 2, and they got a little bit of the 3rd one left. But I think they've got to find a way to get the puck through on Miller, because he's really having a pretty easy night as far as action is concerned. But I liked the zone time. I thought they played a tremendous game. They supported one another very, very well, and they really were good at retrieving the puck.
Well, the Lightning have nearly the 2 minutes left on the 3rd opportunities. We have a look at the chase review. The shots only 6-4. The chances not many. Lightning with 4 and missing on the first 2 opportunities. And as Chief notes, Canucks very strong on special teams as a whole. They're a +11 on special teams, their goal differential. And they've actually been outscored at even strength on the season. Luke Witkowski seeing 4 shifts of ice time. Here's tonight's hockey history moment brought to you by Geico. It was on this day in 2011. Steven Stamkos had a pair of goals, including the game-tying goal and a 3-2 shootout victory over the Thrashers in Atlanta. Dwayne Rollison got career victory number 201. In that win, Dominic Moore, of course, big part of that team as well, as they went on to the Eastern Conference Finals, nearly the Stanley Cup Finals, and they would have faced the Vancouver Canucks. Well, Tyler Johnson, who's been wearing our microphone and provided a very entertaining and informative segment during the intermission. We saw on a replay his reaction to getting up after being tripped by Alexander Edler, who's in the penalty box serving that penalty. And here's another look at that collision.
See, when he's trying to make the move, and there you see him. He caught him on that leg, and you see him really wincing on that right leg. And hopefully we can see number 9 back out there. And he's coming now.
So he late arrival, but coming out, the old hockey joke is, hey, they're on the power play. He's not going to miss that, but no, he's not going to miss it anyway. Although he has been battling at times a lower body injury.
He is one tough player. Remember when he had that broken bone in his foot? He played a whole lot of it last year. Incredible.
Didn't miss a game.
No, he didn't.
Lightning starting with 1:50 of power play time now. A Toyota power play opportunity and a chance to grab the lead in this hockey game. As Johnson flips it down the boards, he'll fire it back around to Palat. Kucherov sends it off Miller's stick in front, and the pass for Stamkos. He was open, but Bieksa spoiled that plan. Back he comes with Burrows. Out in front for Bieksa. Missed the pass. Slides into Bishop. And we're going to get a hooking call from Dan O'Halloran on the play.
I think it's going to be
Tampa, number 91,
it's going to be
2 minutes for
Stamkos. Take a look as he comes in. Here comes the hook right there. He got the hand on the gloves. Again, we keep talking about, see where the stick is, right on the gloves. Anytime that happens, it's going to be almost an automatic. So 28 seconds in, Stamkos will be in the box. And a minute 26 later, Vancouver will have a power play because that's what's left of the power of the penalty to Edler.
Well, the Sedins go against Callahan and Filppula up front in this 4-on-4. Left in the circle, grabbed by Ryan Callahan. He'll push it ahead. Corrado back, Callahan right on him. Down goes Corrado into the boards. And we're going to get a penalty here to Callahan. What? A slash is indicated by O'Halloran.
Tampa 24, 2 minutes for slash.
You know what? He's 2 zones away, trailing the play. 2 zones away, trailing the play. I've never understood how they make that call. You know, the lead referee was right there, saw a better part of it, but it's not his ability, his position to call it.
Well, Van Cooper and his men facing a 3 against 4 skater situation. You don't see that very often. And the Sedins licking their chops at this one with Vrabada out. And Tanev, the lone defenseman. As Brian Boyle wins the faceoff to Garrison, he'll hurry it around the boards and out, force the Canucks back.
Their first
rounds out this trio, Chief.
Sorry, Rick, I was just saying, it's their first power play of the game.
Vancouver, a top 10 power play, 19.7%. Lightning on the kill, 81.2%. And they're tied for 16th.
They
right
love
the
that
league average.
They love that backdoor play.
Here's a drive block. Paquette blocking the shot by Tanev. Feeds it back out. He was going to make a little play to himself. But the Canucks bring it back in with Daniel Sedin. Out of Tanev. Henrik. Around. Or Vrabada. We'll get it once again. Got to get the Lightning penalty killers moving here. Henrik Sedin to Daniel. Stopped by Bishop. Side of the goal. Well, that pass made it through. And now we're going to get another penalty to the Lightning as Paquette was hurrying Tanev. Delayed call. Miller going to the bench for the extra skater. The Lightning control. Boy, we've got quite a bit of accounting to do here to get you caught up on all these penalties. Only 9 seconds left on the Vancouver call.
You got Tampa, 2 minutes for Hook. Yeah, really.
Well, I'll tell you, 1:45 will be the time. And you talked about Rick going over for 2.5 on the power play at the start, how it's going to help. Well, now we see how their penalty kill here for the Lightning. It's got to really come through. 3 straight penalties called in the first minute and 45 seconds of this period. You knew it was going to happen. It was going to even out. Now, the thing of it is, Paquette can't start until Stamkos is finished. So they get extra man.
Edler's set to come out. And Vancouver will begin a long 5-on-3. And it's Henrik Sedin carrying that puck in. Watched by Palat, playing it back to Edler. Ian Bieksa man the points around to Henrik Sedin. Pass is tipped. There's a shot. Bishop out to meet the try by Bieksa. They got Daniel near the net. Vrabada handling it now. Stamkos set to come out in 6 seconds, or his penalty would end in 6 seconds, but that, as Chief noted, only marks the time when Paquette begins. Stammer can't come out till a whistle. And here's Daniel feeding it to Bieksa, shooting, and it's blocked and deflected out of play.
Now Stammer can come out now. You had to wait for the whistle till you get the play out.
And Callahan's penalty expires too, so that eliminates the 2-man disadvantage. And Paquette remains in the box now. 1:50 left on the board on that penalty.
Well, they've had 3 shots so far on the first 2 penalties, and now they're working on their last, but a much better manageable penalty kill for the Lightning with the 4 men out there.
Lightning hit with 3 minor penalties in the first minute 45 of the second period. Their third power play didn't last very long before this spate of penalties started to turn against Tampa Bay. Canucks can't come up with the puck. Tyler Johnson will send it out. Edler back. Here's Edler. It's Henrik coming across the middle. I don't think he and Daniel have come off the ice at all, or Brabada. With all these penalties piling up and power play opportunities, Willie Desjardins trying to seize the opportunity. Brabada has it. He fires. It's blocked by Boyle. Drops out of his equipment. Tried to lead Johnson on a shorthanded breakaway, but he overlet him. And Miller gets the puck in the hands of Edler.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I think he's hurting a little bit, Johnson. That with his speed, he would have caught that easily.
That wasn't your garden variety trip where he got hurt.
No.
Edler stuck the leg out on him, and he's known for that a little bit. Pass out in front. Garrison will bounce it back through center. Edler, in the World Championships, injured Eric Stahl with a terrible case of sticking his leg out, and Stahl ripping his knee up. Dangerous play. Puck fired in by Bieksa. Higgins met by Schuster. Played back of the point, out of the reach of Bieksa. 22 seconds remaining on the Paquette penalty. Rink wide to Linden Bay. He'll walk in, play it back to the middle. Stamkos lurking, got it away. Meets up with Bieksa. Boy, they had Callahan 50 feet behind any skater, ready for a lead pass. Lightning just couldn't get a hold of the puck to get it to him, but they do kill off the third penalty. Paquette back in the play, and he forces Vancouver to center. What penalty killing we've seen from both teams. Chief, you normally say, well, your goalie's your best penalty killer. They really haven't seen many shots.
No, they haven't. 1 for Miller, 3 for Bishop. But they had 2 man short situations.
Stamkos to Callahan from the angle, cutting it alone, trying to tuck it home. It's off Miller, and it's off the end of his stick. Corrado grabbed it. He's muscled to the boards by Killorn. Played ahead at center ice. Starting it in, it's Horvat. His pass to Hansen. The shot tipped away by Paquette. Garrison. Out ahead for Drouin. He swings in. Rifles the pass. Garrison shooting. Miller a save, and the rebound is blocked. What a pass by Drouin, just right on the mark.
He didn't even have to stop Garrison. He just got it right there and then let it go, and Miller had a nice save.
Witkowski playing it back to Garrison. Killorn launches the backhand try in. Short hop by Miller. Tanev throwing it behind his partner. Edler's able to get it up the boards ahead for Henrik Sedin at center, and Daniels offside.
Well, let's take a look at this play right here. He had to wait to get the puck to settle down. You saw it rolling there. He almost was able to bounce it off Miller's elbow. He finally got control of it right there, and he just tried to wrap it around, and it was even tipped on a part by Hamhuis. But for me, the big part of it was that puck was rolling. He couldn't really control it to make any kind of move until he got behind the net.
Spiza working it to Daniel Sedin. He'll get it back from Henrik. Long drive, an easy stop for Bishop to turn that aside. Johnson with 2 teammates in front of the net, and Palat and Strawman move it ahead with Kucherov. Back to Palat. Trying to step around Bieksa. Now to Nesterov with a shot, a riser, and it's by the ear of Bieksa into the glove of Ryan Miller. Still no score, plenty of power plays either way.
The man who fired the first shot on goal this evening, Nick Kucherov. It's been amazing the acclaim in the first half of this season for the right winger on the triplets line. Peter Kucherov this evening skates in his 100th career game. Yet it was here inside Emily on Sunday at the Carnival that he was duck tank. Nikita. His fans fired away, sending Kucherov splashing into the water. Nick was a great sport supporting the Lightning Foundation, and he gets back on the ice this evening, and as he's done throughout the first half of the season, Rick and Chief looking to make a splash here in the National Hockey League.
Thank you, Paul. Here's a shot by Witkowski that's blocked in front. And the Canucks moving out to center. Callahan, Filppula, Stamkos on the ice. Finally, the teams are back to full strength after some pretty busy penalty killing on both sides. Canucks in that first period, the Lightning early in the second, having to deal with shorthanded situation after shorthanded situation. Edler look out. Stamkos lined him up for that shoulder hit. Puck left. Filppula has it. Out of Stamkos. Feeds it back to Filppula. Callahan settles in near Miller. Back to Witkowski shooting, and it's deflected out of play off the stick of Sean Mathias. Tonight on Fox Sports Live, KD and the Thunder head to Miami as the Heat welcome back Dwayne Wade. Gary Kubiak takes over in Denver. We'll tell you how his hiring affects Peyton Manning. And Bill Belichick compares Russell Wilson to a Hall of Fame quarterback. Does Donovan McNabb agree? We'll find out tonight on Fox Sports Live. Loose puck in front. Burrows reached in there for it. Tapped away by Conley. Nesterov off Morrow's stick. Corrado has it. He'll send it back the other way with Higgins. Can't step inside on Strawman. Strawman along those boards. Hughes over for it. Strawman with it. He'll sail it over the shoulder of Conley. Knocked down with the glove, but the Lightning move it ahead as Morrow starts it in for the Lightning. His pass tipped by Higgins coming back, reaching up, and Morrow with a shot. That's blocked. And Hughes, while down on the ice, tried to glove it ahead. They say the puck was deflected with a high stick, and O'Halloran halts play.
I thought it was I thought the Lightning picked it up, though, when it was hit by the stick.
And they're ruling it's Vancouver and being questioned right now.
I'd see what happened is that if Morrow missed it, and when it came down, it was Alex Burrows that ended up, kind of kicking it with his skate.
Paquette, clean win. Lightning have been sharp in the draw, starting out 5-1 in the period. Here's a shot that's blocked. Out in front, Paquette stick tied up, reaching for it, and it was chipped away by Bieksa.
You could tell the veteran defenseman out there, they have a knack of hanging onto that stick without even the referee seeing it. They really get their body quite well. They really protect that puck and limit your ability to get a hold of that bouncing rebound.
Puck sent down the ice. Vancouver whistled on the icing call.
For the speed of the game and for the puck control that both teams love to have, we're not seeing a whole lot of shots on goal. 4-4 in this period. And that was the benefit of 3 power plays and long stretches of 2-man advantages for Vancouver.
Well, we had 10 shots blocked and 10 on goal in the first period. I think that tells you a lot about the approach of these teams in this game. And you talked about not a lot of shots getting through as the Lightning try to march toward the net. Hard to do as the Canucks close ranks. Hansen double team, taken back by Palat. His pass comes out of the zone. Witkowski there to back up the play, and he'll send it right back in. Bieksa controlling it, sidesteps the hit from Palat. Johnson quickly in on that puck. Palat with a centering pass, deflected behind Spiza, and they'll head for the other corner. Henrik Sedin back for Bieksa. Hansen flips it out. Dorsett trying to get a stick on it. And Strawman, his old teammate with the Rangers, knocked it away. Here comes Hansen cutting in. Hansen maneuvers, shoots, and it's handled by Bishop. No rebound.
One of the things that we've talked about, making sure you have that third forward high, and they've done a very good job of it, but that really promotes much better forechecking as well. Here's that last shot. Just anything at all, just to try and get one through, and hopefully that it's going to find a hole or get a crazy bounce or deflection and in the net. But Lightning have been really good with their puck retrieval. They've been really quick to the puck when they've lost it, and that's why one of the reasons why they've had so much zone time in the offensive end.
Filppula loses this draw. He's 6-2 in the game. Hasn't lost many. Rabada gets to it in the corner. Tried to center. It's blocked. Gets it back. Turns forehand. His shot blocked there by Garrison. He's double teamed. Rabada in for it. Garrison takes it. Filppula settles things as he grabs a hold of the puck. Scrambling after it is Stamkos. He tried to connect with Filppula. Bothered there on the play as Tanev got it out to center. It's bounced across for Henrik Sedin. Rabada down the middle. They try to find him. He does. A save by Bishop. Bouncing pass landed perfectly for Rabada behind the defender's stick, and Bishop came out to meet it. Stamkos belted by Corrado. Callahan hurries in to grab the puck. Going to wheel out of the corner. Back around for Filppula. Spins away from Bonino from the point. Nesterov shooting a save by Miller into a crowd of players. Callahan, of course, the drawing card there. The pass off the stick of Mathias. He's matched up with Schuster. Kassian in there. Fires along the goal line. Bishop stayed put. Made the stop. Nesterov poking it along. Out comes Boyle. Little soft dump down the board so he can get to it. Lightning changing with a short change at their bench in the offensive zone. Boyle leaving it behind the net. Kassian over for it. Challenged there by Morrow. Conley involved as well. Conley has it. Steps off the boards. Has a chance with a shot. It's off the stick of Spiza. Over the glove of Miller. Hooked in front. Boyle the try. That's knocked out. Conley tried to wheel it on goal. He couldn't. Spiza there defensively. Good gritty shift by this line. Hedman backed up by Conley. He'll backhand it behind the net for Boyle. Spiza barged in there. Morrow had it worked away. Boyle back behind the net. Bieksa getting a workout on this shift. He tries to land the hit as Conley stepped away from the traffic. Now Boyle has it. Conley in front. Boyle curls it through his legs as he was tied up by Bieksa. Spiza has it. Canucks desperate to get out with a long change.
Boy, what a great shift that was. Those guys really worked hard.
Killorn looking to wheel around the corner. Around the net he goes. Circles in front. Turns and fires, and it's blocked. Edler fires it ahead for Burrows. Strawman there defensively. Burrows on the quick stop. Trying to lose Strawman. Backhands it in front. Sent on goal. Bishop a stop on Chris Higgins. Fired in front by Edler. Strawman getting it ahead. Paquette defended by Tanev. They'll head to the corner. Edler up the boards, off the ledge of the boards, and Higgins got it out.
See, that's a great example of that right there. Jonathan Drouin was a third man high. That allowed Schuster to drop down into that corner to try and keep the puck in. That's perfectly played there for that third man high.
On pass to Derek Dorsett. Dorsett heads in, trailed by Nesterov, who matched him on a quick stop. Schuster blocked the pass, knocked free in front. Good defensive work on that play by Kucherov. However, Hamhuis holds up the Lightning rush. Bishop will get to it ahead of Bo Horvat, and he'll fire it out to center ice. Here's Palat. Hansen backhands it through center. He hit a scrambly period of his hockey game, but it gets you out of your seat a little bit with some of the chances. Sent in front for Dorsett on the backhand. Stopped by Bishop. Dorsett gets it back to the point. Stick breaks. With the puck now, it's Kucherov racing ahead. Cuts inside. He shoots. And Corrado forced him to fire high. It's bounced down the ice. Witkowski back. Icing the call against Vancouver.
Wow. Kucherov had a great opportunity coming here. I know he wanted that top part of the net. Once again, the stick breaks, and very, very quickly are they away. Watch this move he makes to get himself clear. He does, and then shoots it. Actually, it got the stick of that defender. He was able to get back there. If you look at that, it was Corrado. He was able to get back. It hits the stick right there. Boy, it looked like he had him turned inside out. He did a great job of getting back there and deflecting that shot from Kucherov.
Stamkos positioned behind him. As we mentioned, Filppula's had a solid night in the circle, 53% of the season. Kicks it back for that one-timer from Stamkos, but the Canucks knew that was coming. 3 forwards ran out ahead of him as they now go for a change.
Bishop was really hoping he could get up there quickly enough to beat them in the change.
Filppula shoots, scores! He converts on the quick centering pass, a lightning breakthrough with the game's first goal.
His night. 13:32 will be the time of a boy. Great passing. You see that tape we talked about. There's that quick feed off there, right back in there, just up top on a really beautiful redirect by Filppula. But Callahan, Stamkos setting him up for that 9th goal. Nice thing about it was how fast and how quickly Hedman moved that puck up. Their passing is back to where it was. Rick, they've been really passing the puck well tonight.
Puck comes off the glass, support back in front. Bishop makes a save on Daniel Sedin. As he was the first man in the zone, there was nothing Bishop could do about that in trying to react to a bad bounce off the glass support. In fact, it's a good thing he stayed put. Here's Kucherov into the zone. Swings in with Johnson. The pass not in his wheelhouse. And the Canucks turn it right around with the Sedins and Bravada. Strawman rifles it away around to Kucherov. Slipped over his stick. Edler dumps it right back in. Stamkos and Callahan with the assists on that goal. And for Callahan, it's his 300th career point. Kucherov working for that puck. Miller has covered it up as he made a save on Cedric Paquette. Valtteri Filppula finding the corner of the net on Miller.
Valtteri Filppula putting your Bolts on top as we bring you back into the second period, where I am joined by a man who has 1 million Twitter followers. You're pretty close there, Christian. He is WWE superstar, and with Road to WrestleMania coming here February 14th, I hear you're giving away some tickets.
I am giving away some tickets. Yeah, I'm going to do it during the second intermission. Just follow me on Twitter at Christian4Peeps, the number 4. And yeah, I'm going to give away a couple of tickets for the show here. It's going to be awesome. Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns, Chris Jericho, Randy Orton. It's going to be an unbelievable show.
I hear that you live in Tampa now. This is your second Lightning game this week.
Yeah, I was here Saturday when they beat Colorado, so hey, I'm bringing them some good luck. I figured I'd come back again. Having such a great time being the social media captain tonight. And it's awesome what a hockey town Tampa has become. It's just awesome to come and see these crowds. So.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Yeah.
Florida does it right. Back up to you guys.
Kelly, thanks very much. As the Lightning look to build on this 1-0 lead, and behind the net, Cedric Paquette. Bet by Tanev. At the point, Garrison lines up the shot, fires, it's blocked. It hit Paquette. Boy, there's been plenty of traffic by Lightning forwards and Ryan Miller, and a few of them have taken some pretty hard shots. Callahan earlier and Paquette right there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the shots have been hitting the Lightning players as much as the Vancouver ones.
That will not show up on the stat sheet.
No, it won't.
But it will show up under the padding when you're...
Oh, it'll be with the ice path on it after the game's over.
Yep. Toronto has to turn and chase. Boyle a head start. He'll take on Hamhuis. Kassian waiting on the wing. His pass knocked down by Morrow. Boy, a lot of little plays with a stick delaying the Canucks tonight have helped the Lightning.
Yeah, intercepting the passes, the carrying passes. Puck's been bouncing a lot, though, too.
Here's Boyle into that zone. Looks to make a play. He'll drive one on Miller. Big rebound. Controlled by Vey. Lines it out ahead to Burrows. He'll swing wide. Take on Schuster. And his try toward the net off the glove of Bishop. Higgins chopping it in behind the net. Burrows back of the point. Bieksa will send it down the board. Schuster looking for the handle on it. Vey got it loose. Higgins fires. Blocked by Hedman. Conley to center. Ahead for Hedman. He was banging his stick. He steps ahead. Leads the attack in. His pass got tangled up in Burrows' skates. Bieksa hoists it out. The lead pass down the sideline, as you would say, for Higgins, but he was well covered.
I like the way that Nesterov plays, Ricky. He's got good skating ability, but he really uses his body well. Not the biggest guy, but he sure takes the players out a lot.
Pretty good skating exhibited by Strawman to avoid the forecheck. Daniel Sedin hounded by Callahan. Stamkos has it. Yeah, mobility. That is the quality everyone's looking for in their back line. The Lightning certainly have that with a number of players. Here's Strawman winding, firing. Miller is safe, and he stops Stamkos on the rebound. Stamkos dumped out in front of it, or I should say side of the net there in a collision with Daniel Sedin. And the play does not leave the zone. Held in by Filppula, back for Stamkos, and he's wrestled to the boards by Daniel Sedin.
Daniel Sedin laid on his legs. I was a little nervous about that.
Nesterov over for Schuster, getting help off the bench. That drive hit Stamkos. Palat's shot was blocked by a Canuck, and it's cleared out. And Stamkos is coming off Gimpy toward the Lightning bench. Nesterov, his pass picked off by Hansen. Kucherov right there to grab him. The puck away from Hansen. Hansen handing it now to Dorsett. Backs in, checked by Nesterov. Horvat, the 19-year-old coming across for it. He was the Canucks' first-round pick, 9th overall in 2013. That was the Drouin draft. And Horvat at the point. At his first NHL game-winning goal, his third NHL goal. Lead pass, Tyler Johnson takes off Tanev, leans in, and Tanev played him well. Product of Rochester Institute of Technology. It surprised a lot of people, reaching the Frozen Four about 4 years ago. Palat blowing up Tanev with a big hit.
He does that a lot. People are surprised. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of power here, but I tell you what, when he hits you, he's very solid.
Garrison turns the net. Pass deflects. Lyndon Bay laying in the weeds, comes up with it. Penalty upcoming here. It will be against the Lightning as Hamhuis starts the play in. And Garrison worked the puck away. Will get a call. Fourth shorthanded situation for the Lightning in the second period. Steven Stamkos robbed by Ryan Miller.
Lighting up by one. They'll be shorthanded for the fourth time. Drouin in the box for high sticking. Time now to take a look at tonight's Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. And you see the longest home winning streaks in the Lightning history. 9 games. That was the one where they won in March of 2012, and they had the lockout for the first half. Kip picked it up there in 2013. And you see the 8th, and the Lightning currently sitting at 7 coming into tonight's game.
Yeah, 8th, the single season record. And that combination record of 9 in a row. They won the last 4 of 2011 and 12 and the first 5 of that lockout shortened season. But the Lightning down with Drouin in the box. 4 Lightning forwards have picked up penalties here in the second. Boyle tips that pass. Now with under a minute remaining in the second period. Grabata. Well-covered Daniel Sedin. Couldn't pick up the puck. It comes out to center. Henrik turning. Hedman relieved his check there of the puck. Henrik Sedin. Daniel. Victor Hedman, all from Orange Skoldsvik, Sweden. Town of about 50,000. It's produced seemingly about 1,000 NHLers. It's a very good one. Peter Forsberg on the list.
Hard to pronounce that town.
It is. I've had a lot of practice. Oh. Here's Rabada in front, and we get a whistle. And a penalty to Vancouver with 13.2 seconds to go in the second period, and that helps out the Lightning cause
23
here.
for Vancouver, 2 minutes for holding.
Edler's, yeah, his third penalty, not his straight, but holding. 1946 will be time. Take a look as he comes to get it. Wow. I'm not so sure I saw a hold there. Nonetheless, the Lightning will take it. Wow.
Strawman dumped on that play, and another 4-on-4. Vancouver had a 5-on-3 very early in this period. Now Nesterov got a stick in the face, I believe off Tanev, but he continues. Higgins starts it in, sends it across. Ham used the drive, turned aside by Bishop. Sharp rebound came off the end boards. Garrison guided it away from the goal, and the horn sounds, ending period number 2. Valtteri Filppula's got the Lightning in front. His 9th goal from Stamkos and Callahan. Stay tuned for the Gulf Coast Honda Dealers' second intermission report. Val will join Paul Kennedy. We'll have more sounds of the game, highlights and stats. Dave Andrechuk will be joining Paul as well. And both teams will be shorthanded when the third period gets underway. Tampa Bay in front by the count of 1-0. Hockey and Sun Sports has been brought to you by Gulf Coast Honda. Visit your Gulf Coast Honda dealers for great deals on new Hondas. Go to gchondadealers.com. By Kaiser University, over 90 programs online and on campus. Learn more at kaiseruniversity.edu. By Steak and Shake, famous for steak burgers. And by your Tampa Bay area BMW Centers. Lightning in front, heading for the third period, 1-0 as they get ready out in the hallway. Leading out to the ice, Rick Peckham and the Chief, Bobby Taylor back with you. And a special day is coming up for a special guy in a special year. Bobby the Chief Taylor, his birthday coming up. And from all of us on the crew at Sun Sports, we want to present this to you. This picture that was taken by Scott Audette, Lightning team photographer, and pretty much the entire cast of characters out here, Chief. And happy birthday coming up during the All-Star break from everybody on the crew.
Well, thanks, Rick. That's the second time I've been completely surprised and taken off guard in Philadelphia. Now here again tonight. Thank you so much, you guys. This is incredible. This is going to go right on my wall, I'll tell you that.
Not speechless, though. Did you notice that?
Yeah, you noticed that. Exactly. This is tremendous. Thank you so much. I am speechless. I don't know what to say now.
All right. Well, Chief's lovely wife, Jan, is here as well and presenting us with that gift, helping us present that gift to Chief for his upcoming birthday next week. Let's have a look at the Chase review after 2 periods. And we see the shots evened out as the Canucks with the advantage of 12-10 in that second period. Lightning holding fourth in the faceoff circle, led primarily by Val Filppula, who's having quite the strong game at 8-2 so far, and he's got the game's only goal.
And a beautiful one at that. And, you know, that's the thing, though. You got to really make sure that you keep that energy level high, keep that concentration, that discipline as well here in the third period. It only takes one goofy bounce or one quick shot, and we have a tied game.
We're underway here in the third period as we got to set you on the penalty situation. Jonathan Drouin still has now 47 seconds. Here's Killorn shooting. He scores! On a 4-on-4, he walks off the boards and finds a corner on Miller. 2-0 Lightning.
Boy, I've seen him do this move so many times. You have as well, Rick. What? Power shot just comes right in, and I'll tell you what, you have to have perfect shots to beat Ryan Miller, and the Lightning's both goals have been absolutely perfect. You saw Filppula put it up over top of him. This one here hit the goalpost and went in. You can't cut it any finer than that without scoring.
Sixth member of the Lightning to hit double figures on the season. That's his 10th at the 11-second mark. And still, we continue in a 4-on-4. Drew had 30 seconds left on his call. Now 1:20 to go on the Edler penalty. Lightning will get a power play chance out of this. As we get any further calls, Filppula and Killorn, the 2 Lightning goal scorers, trying to come up with that puck in the Vancouver zone. Corrado got it free. Daniel Sedin curling back. Spiza hounded in there by Palat. Johnson his partner, and Spiza cut in between them. Puck is fed off the boards down the ice now with the Lightning getting Drouin out of the box and 40 seconds remaining on the Alex Edler penalty for holding. And the Lightning on their fourth power play. Spiza getting to it. Moving it along. Tanev tied up. Tanev works it free. Kucherov gets it. And he's got Johnson open to the point. Firing. Saved by Miller. He'll hang on.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's high-def highlight brought to you by H.H. Gregg. And let's take a look at that shot again. Alex Killorn is such a powerful move going into that side. Look at that shot. And the funny part of it is it glanced off the blocker of Miller just enough to put it up over off the goalpost and in. And Alex Killorn gives the Lightning a 2-goal cushion here in the third.
Strawman, 16 on the penalty. Pass gets by Kucherov. He tried to play with his skate. And Bishop steps out. Killorn from Hedman and Filppula at the 11-second mark. Hedman finding Johnson. Johnson scoots into that zone, cuts wide. Lightning completing a change behind him. He gets pounded by Hamhuis, trying to make the play in the slot. And Bieksa now has it with the teams at full strength. Well, the penalty killing has been excellent throughout. Both teams have missed on 4 chances. Burrows had it knocked down. That in front quick shot is sent wide. And taken at the point by Bieksa. He'll wrist it wide of the goal. Hedman trying to get to it. It's played back to him. All he can do is reach back and try to knock it away from Burrows. Schuster sends it up the boards, gets it by Bieksa down the ice. However, we'll get a whistle for the icing call.
Well, the Lightning had a good chance to bounce that puck off the wall there, and Filppula went back again. Sometimes it's better to go out of the zone rather than go back to regroup.
Bright House Flex plans allow you to pick any games at any combination you want. This is the most flexible ticket plan available. Call 813-301-6600 or visit TampaBayLightning.com. Stamkos will take this face-off. Rolls to the slot. Batted to center by Filppula. There's Tanev. Dumping it in the zone. It hit a little crease along the boards. And the Lightning now forced to play to center.
Well, I'll tell you what. We've seen some really good defensive plays on the part of Hedman with his long reach and Schuster with his long reach. Really stopped a lot of plays along the blue line.
At the point, Edler. Across for Tanev. Chief, we've talked a lot about the players that Steven Stamkos played with growing up. So many great NHL players in that Markham, General Toronto area. And Chris Tanev apparently another one, as Steven's father, Chris Stamkos, reminded us at the intermission.
Yeah, he played with P.K. Subban and Steven as 9-year-olds.
And they've been matched up a lot tonight. Tanev part of that top defensive pair with Edler. Mathias at center. And a backhand it in. Drouin wouldn't let him.
Well, he's really good at picking pockets, I think.
Drouin playing it ahead to Paquette. He'll step in with Killorn. Shot was blocked by by Bieksa. And now Kassian takes it. Room to roam through center. The big right winger trying to step around Witkowski. And he slides it away from him. The race is on. And they wave off icing. Conley hustling back against Spiza. Morrow playing it back to Conley. Bounced off a check. Finds Boyle shooting. He scores! It slipped through Ryan Miller. 3-0 Lightning.
It was all set up by the hustle of Brett Conley. He took away that icing call and then really worked feverishly to keep control of the puck, using his size and strength to really help it out. And he had 2 big defensemen that he had to get away from us too. And that quick shot by Boyle just got past the initial pads of Miller and had enough steam on it to trickle through over the goal line. But boy, I'll tell you what, you got to point to Brett Connolly for that whole goal, that whole sequence.
Here comes Kucherov roaring in. He shoots. Miller kicks it out. Hedman winds, fires, and drills it wide as he had Kucherov out in front. The Lightning have come out roaring in this third period. Puck deflected with a high stick by Tampa Bay. As Boyle scores at 4:16 after Killorn scored at the 11-second mark.
Let's take a look at this play again. So here's this right here. He beats the player back. That was Sabisa. And then just really look at that. He's been bounced around. He held on the puck and then finally found Boyle in the slot. His quick shot found its way through. But everything was all set up by tenacity and his aggressiveness to get to the puck.
Connolly and Morrow get the assists on Boyle's ninth. Faceoff coming back to the Vancouver zone. We mentioned the Lightning have been getting a balanced amount of scoring the last 9 games. 13 different players figuring in that scoring, led by the likes of Stamkos and Tyler Johnson. Witkowski playing it to Garrison. Bounces it in front. It's stopped there by Miller as Paquette tangling with Horvat. Tanev waits behind the net. Playing it with Edler. Horvat stick handles through. 206-pounder. Hansen couldn't make a play. Taken over by the Lightning. Tapped ahead by Paquette. And Corrado gets to it.
Sometimes they make that return pass a little too quickly.
Worked away by Killorn. Hands it out of Stamkos. Flying into the zone. Got around one man. He tried to center as he had Drouin parked there. And the pass he loses taken by Lyndon Vay. Lay harried in there by Filppula. And Vay with a pass out for Burrows. He's checked by Callahan. Overskates the puck. Two Canucks collide. Stepping in Filppula. Stamkos with him. Filppula will fake, shoots, save. Miller covers it up. Robbed him with a glove.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Filppula just shaking his head. He had to go back there. He tried to actually go by and slip it by him. And it looked like, and watch the stick right there. As you see the stick of Frank Corrado just get in there, right there. And kind of stop the shot, and then Miller was able to cover up. Had he been able to get it just past that stick, it's a 4-0 game, but Corrado did a tremendous job of stopping that puck.
He's been a handy guy tonight. He stopped a puck that almost went off the butt of Miller's stick and in the net back in the second period. And he was right there to help out his goaltender there. Nick Bonino takes over on the puck. Backhand feed, rink wide. Hamhuis skates ahead. He's met there by Strowman. Here's a shot that missed the net by Mathias. Bieksa winds, fires, saved by Bishop. Stretching out with a blocker. Another try deflected wide. Kassian has it. Curls it out in front. Mathias with a shot. Strowman right there to block it. Bonino leaves it. Kassian shoots it. Glove by Bishop. Bishop gets into the act. Supported by Killorn and Boyle. The goals here in the third. Tampa Bay leading 3-0.
Brian Boyle and the Bolts lead the Canucks 3-0. The final game before All-Star Week. And if this score holds up, the Bolts will be in the top spot in the Eastern Conference at the break. And when play resumes, it'll do so 1 week from tonight. A look at our Steak and Shake upcoming schedule. Yuri Tulosti in Carolina will be here. You'll see the Red Wings, Henrik Zetterberg. And the Wings out of the Atlantic will be here on the 29th. Columbus and All-Star Nick Foligno. And Vladimir Tarasenko and the Blues, their one and only visit to Amalie to open the month of February. All on the horizon, Rick and Chief, and before you know it, April in the postseason will be upon us. It'll come at us fast.
It sure will, Paul. Thanks very much. Things are really going to get intense. Lightning letting it all hang out here in this final period before the All-Star break. Canucks would like to, but we pointed out it's been a long trip, couple of back-to-backs. This the second one. Johnson's pass behind Kucherov. Hedman drives it. That was blocked by Bieksa. The shot sent wide. Bieksa skating around, and he's dropped his gloves and stick. He blocked that, it appears, with his hand, and he's in a lot of pain rushing off to the Vancouver locker room.
Boy, he's in tremendous pain. It's the prerogative of the official when you see a player who's obviously in severe pain to blow the play dead, and that's what they did. And boy, what a tremendous drive, though. See him right here trying to get in front there. There's that shot by Hedman, and he caught it right in his hand. Oh, almost similar to what Victor had in Vancouver.
Certainly hope he's all right. Buffalo's Tyson Strachan took a shot in the side of the head in Detroit a couple of nights ago. The Wings ended up scoring just a second later as the officials really didn't have time to react and halt play. He went down in a heap, but Nyquist ended up scoring a goal on a play like that where the Lightning had a shot right after that was blocked by Bieksa.
Well, you're looking at the new coach, Willie Desjardins, who in his coaching resume, he coached in Japan, right, Rick?
Yep, mid-90s, couple of years in Tokyo. And came back to coach in the Western Hockey League, 10 years in Medicine Hat. He and John Cooper, back-to-back years, the AHL Coach of the Year. Coop in 2012 and Desjardins 2013 with the Texas Stars. And his team won the Calder Cup last year in the Dallas organization. Puck chipped ahead by Kassian. The rugged forward heads in there to take on Witkowski. Witkowski got it free to Boyle. Morrow off the boards, back to center. Vancouver enters the zone. Here's Edler leaving it. Kassian with a shot. Couldn't sneak it through. That hit Edler. And Paquette will take it. Killorn pressuring at the line. The puck poked back on goal by Nesterov, the defenseman who stepped up with speed.
Well, he got hit again. Now he's got a full mask on, Rick. You talked about him getting hit with a high stick near the end of the second period. And, of course, you know, he got that puck in the mouth earlier, and now he's got that clear shield.
Well, I think that mouthpiece saved him the other night. It protected his upper teeth, and one of his lower ones was loosened. And we saw, of course, the stitches in the lip. We talked to him briefly today. He says, hey, it's the NHL. He said, your first NHL stitches. Pass ahead for Burrows. Going to make the play. Tied up. They score! Burrows fired it home. It looked like he was tied up by Stralman, who had help. And Alex Burrows gets Vancouver on the board just past the 8-minute mark. Corrado cut in there.
Yeah,
perhaps he backhanded it home.
He could be. Watch this. Everybody's back. They got all over him. They just couldn't get a hold of the puck. You see it? There it is. Back. I think it was Corrado at the very end there. You see, they had Burrows. Corrado got a stick free and just flipped it up, hit the top part of Bishop's right pad and into the net. So for Corrado, that's his first goal of the year.
Second of his career.
8:09 will be the time.
And the Canucks come right back with Dorsett turning. Pass blocked by Callahan. Racing for the puck. He'll get to it. Leans in on Dorsett. Centers in front. It's tipped on goal. Stamkos was cutting toward the net. But it ended up off a Vancouver stick.
Ooh, boy.
As the Canucks come right back.
That's the thing. We've only had 3 shots on goal. The third shot being the goal. But, boy, you got to be a little bit stronger in your own zone and your back checking. A little bit more diligent in picking up those loose guys.
Witkowski blocked a shot earlier on the shift, playing it to Callahan, right back to Witkowski. He's able to get to his partner. Johnson. Here's Palat cutting through. Johnson speeds for that puck in his pass just by the stick of Palat out in front. Henrik Sedin joined by Daniel. Slowed up by Schuster. Henrik marches in, shoots, saved by Bishop. He gets jolted at the side of the net, and the Lightning react to that.
Well, he catches the puck, and Bay comes back make that hand. He comes back and takes a shot at the goalie. take a look here. It's a right angle shot. It holds it on. There it is. Got to get in there quickly to get those guys away. And Hamhuis gave Schuster a little shot.
Burroughs and Higgins assistant. Corrado's first of the year at 8:09. 3-1 our score. With 10:46 to go in the third, John Cooper. We mentioned him being the AHL Coach of the Year. That was 2012, the year the Lightning affiliate won the Calder Cup. Ray Thill, head equipment manager, helping out Ben Bishop with a skate blade. Prorated season tickets are limited. Season ticket members get the same great seat, exclusive benefits, and special discounts. Tickets start at just $18 per game. Call 813-301-6600 or visit TampaBayLightning.com.
It looked like he might have lost some edge there. I'm always amazed at how often goaltenders get their skate sharpened now. Because that butterfly style, you got to have that sharp inner part of the blade.
Is that for that push?
Yeah.
Push across?
When you're a stand-up goalie, you didn't want too sharp a skate because your skate would cut in too much and make too many wide, sharp circles.
They held in. Corrado, the Vancouver goal scorer, his pass around the boards ends up reaching Kucherov, and he's got Palat motoring out. Schuster joining the play as it's played down the boards, and Hamhuis will get to it. Stepping in, Hedman blocked that outlet. And Corrado will sail it through center. Hedman reaching for it, taken by Henrik Sedin, cuts in, fires, Bishop to stop, and Henrik in there alone at the moment as the Canucks were changing behind him.
Well, they had but 2 shots up until Corrado. So for 8 minutes, they had 2 shots on goal. The Lightning are really in complete control. They score the goal, and now they've really come on. See, now they picked up 5, so they had 2 since the goal, 3 counting the goal. But Lightning got to get a little bit more intense in their own zone again.
Morrow gets the puck out. Conley started this with some great hustle. Now to Boyle. Double team, Bonino there defensively. Tanev takes it. Spiza feeding it to center. Witkowski there. Spiza plays it back in. Canucks have to tag up. We talked about how good these teams are in these situations. Lightning 18-4-1 here at home ice and gunning for their 8th consecutive win at home. And the Canucks have won 3 in a row, all on the road. They're 15-7-2 on the road. Play halted with 9:26 to go in this third period. We've got a penalty upcoming with the Lightning in front 3-1.
Lightning up by 2, a little under halfway through this third period. Brett Connolly in the box. Illegal hit to the head. Take a look as he's looking for the puck. He comes by, but the shoulder hits the Vancouver player in the head as he's going down for it. And they're trying to really make players aware of that. That was Frank Corrado. So their 5th power play, Vancouver.
They've had just 3 shots on their first 4 power plays. The Lightning have had only 2 shots that have gotten to Miller on their 4 power plays. We've talked about the outstanding penalty killing. It's started from the top on down. Let's see what the Lightning can do in this situation. Toyota power play opportunity for the Canucks. Well, they had 4 straight power plays in that second period. And the Lightning surviving the storm, including a 2-man disadvantage for a lengthy period of time, and they get the puck out here. Here's Filppula. Wheels it. Backhand try is tipped wide by Edler. Henrik Sedin gathers it in. Palat paired with Filppula in front of Hedman and Stralman. Henrik reaches the corner. Hedman knocked the puck free. It's recovered by Vancouver. Edler up top. Out of Henrik Sedin. Daniel to Henrik. Here's a shot by Edler. Blocked in front by Stralman. Palat found the puck. Held in. Now it's Brabata down low. Forced behind the net. Now we got Stralman involved with Bishop. Bishop lost his helmet. Stralman lost his helmet. Burroughs in the middle of things. And let's see what the officials come up with here with 1:17 remaining on the Conley call.
We got Tampa Bay, 2 minutes for rough.
What? And nothing for Vancouver. There's Burroughs there. Look at that. The stick there. He takes off the helmet right there.
Now the Canucks with his 5-on-3. Another one for them here. Will use their timeout and to talk over some strategy. Roughing to Stralman at 11:17. So 1:17 remaining on the first penalty. John Cooper from a distance giving his opinion to O'Halloran on that call.
Oh, they won't go over there. I mean, you take a look. The guy's on holding there. He cross-checks him from behind, out above, with his stick. Takes his helmet off when doing it, and then the retaliation gets the penalty.
And Burroughs made sure he got Bishop's head, knocking his helmet off in the process. So the Lightning 2 men down and losing a key penalty killer in Stralman. Boyle, Paquette, and Garrison. Here's another look at the play.
Well, they had that 2-man advantage in that second period, really early in the period.
And now it's blown dead off the faceoff. They're going to do it again. Tim Nowak talking with Henrik Sedin. Looks like the clock's okay. We're set to go.
Boy, this is a lengthy one as well, Rick. Minute 16. That's left on Conley's penalty.
It seemed like a second ticked off that penalty. Not that the Lightning are going to complain about it. It's cleared out by Garrison.
Another big face-off win by Brian Boyle. Boy, he's at his best when the Lightning are shorthanded in those face-off circles.
And he keeps coming up with those big shot blocks. I'm sure he'll be challenged here. Rabada. Edler.
The backdoor play by the Sedins is you got to really watch.
Here's a shot. It's sent wide by Henrik Sedin.
That's the play I'm talking about.
Daniels in front. Rabada on the near side. Henrik with a puck. It's Burroughs in front, and the pass to Daniel lurking up top in this power play. Edler fakes the shot, goes back to Henrik, looking back door, and it was deflected enough. A penalty upcoming here as Paquette was taken down. Holt as a trip will be called here against Rabada. 32 seconds to go on the Conley penalty.
You got Vancouver, 2 for trip.
12:02. We take a look. They always try that backdoor play. They've been so perfect with that. Then you see him right there. Oh, God, it just flashed the feet out from under him. Watch right here. Really, they can't argue that one. That definitely is a trap. But they work that backdoor play so well, that Vancouver power play, especially with the Sedins. And they get those shooters on their off wing, and they get really good angle to the net.
4-on-3 now for Vancouver. And in 24 seconds, the Lightning can get through it. Conley will even things out. Filppula reached out to deflect that pass. Here's a save by Bishop, and he covers that puck as Higgins came down the boards. Filppula took a chance. Canucks created a 2-on-1, and Higgins stopped.
Well, he did get the puck on the boards. Watch right here. He knocked it down, but it knocked it off the boards really funny. And he was able to regain it in that quick shot. Again, that left-handed shot coming down that right wing, that opens up that far side a little bit better for him, and he wasn't able to get past Bishop.
Lyndon Vey in the face-off, taken by Garrison, rifles it off the boards. It hits Hamhuis. That'll kill another couple of seconds on the Conley penalty. Higgins re-enters, forced to the corner. Back to Lyndon Vey. Up to Hamhuis. Returning, it's Conley. 4-on-4. Conley tips the pass, and he'll get the lead out of the zone by Palat. He's got Filppula driving the net. The pass to him, over his stick and wide. Bonino got it ahead to Vey. Got Higgins up at the blue line, but he couldn't find him as Conley came back and back-skated pretty well there to prevent that play.
Yeah, he had to play a little easier before the blue line. He was so close to him.
Hamhuis cruising in. He had Vey cutting to the net. Was not back to him. He tried to center. That's broken up by Hedman. Moves it now to Killorn. He's got Stamkos busting behind Tanev, but couldn't find the angle to make the pass. Strawman steps out of the box. The Lightning now with a power play. Bravado with 40 seconds on his call. 5th opportunity for Tampa Bay. Hedman. Killorn in front. Throw back to Stamkos. Johnson. They're now joined by Kucherov. Kucherov gets the pass. Around to Stamkos down low. Back out to the point. They had switched positions, and it comes all the way to Bishop. Vancouver goes for a quick change. Johnson starts it in. Stamkos will have to dig it out of the corner. 13 seconds to go on Bravado's call. And it's taken over by the Lightning. Fed in front for Johnson. Loads up, fires, missed. As he looked for the top corner on Miller. Hedman back to Kucherov. Now to Stamkos. Loads up, fires. That's off a stick. That was blocked by Spiza. Bravado was racing out of the box. Had to wait for the puck. He'll shoot. And it's tipped by Kucherov. Out of play with 5:50 to go. Here in the third period. Both teams fighting through penalties. It's 3-1 Tampa Bay.
Let's take a look tonight's Diamond Performance presented by Ackerman Jewelers, and it is Valtteri Filppula. Yes, he's had a goal and assist, but his biggest work, I think, has been on the faceoff. He got the first goal of the game in the middle of the second period, but his ability to win the faceoffs led to this goal by Alex Killorn to give the Lightning a 2-goal lead. Coming into the third period, he had won 8 of 10 faceoffs, and he won 2 big ones, or 3 big ones, really, in that shorthanded situation for the Lightning.
Off the face-off, it was a hand pass called against Vancouver, indicated by Nowak, which would bring the face-off out of the zone to center.
He's calling a penalty.
And now Stamkos complaining.
They're calling a penalty
to O'Halloran. Is it?
Yeah, they're calling a penalty here.
And Stamkos is going to be sent to the box.
It was called by Tim Nowak.
Using your hand on the face-off. Now they don't allow that anymore. Let's see. He claims he didn't do it.
He was in the air and he knocked it down. Watch this.
Generally, I think that rule was instituted to prevent centermen from reaching down and gloving the puck back to a defenseman while it was on the ice. But that's not the conventional way you would expect that called. Here's a shot that's tipped wide by Burroughs out in front. Nevertheless, Vancouver getting the power play for a 7th time in this game. Edler with a shot, deflected, and it ends up behind the net. Boyle recovers it. It's time to go to the forehand and clear it out. Edler, who has spent time in the box on 3 different occasions tonight, leaving that puck for Henrik Sedin. Into Bravado, drives one off Bishop. Johnson has it, supported by Schuster. Easily pushes it back. Lightning off to a good start on this kill. We head inside 5 minutes on the clock in the third period. Corrado, and a big player for Vancouver in both creases. Scoring the goal now as Miller goes to the bench. With Vancouver owning the power play, down 2 goals in 4:40. They've gone to 6 attackers at empty net. Bonino. Boyle stepped in front of him, chipped it free. 40 seconds on the Stamkos penalty. Vey turns the net. Gives it to Hamhuis. He'll drive it down the boards. 6-on-4 skater situation for Vancouver with that goaltender pulled, and it's Hamhuis around to Henrik Sedin. All sorts of white uniforms positioned around the Lightning zone. Vey with a try. It's blocked by Schuster. Higgins stopped to the side of the goal by Bishop. Bay gets it back. Pass taken away by Schuster. Still they get it through to Higgins. Pass in front. Everybody's covered. And Paquette will fire. Sends it wide of the empty net. Stamkos out of the box. Lightning at full strength.
Oh, what a great job for the Lightning.
And here's a steal. Filppula nearly came up with it. Edler playing it ahead. Knocked down. Stamkos turns. He fires. And he flips it wide of the empty net. It pops right out in front. Corrado got it away. Well, the Lightning can smell that empty net. Callahan shot blocked in front. Corrado. Who else? Dorsett gets it free and out of the zone. Tapped away by Hedman and ends up off Horvat's stick and in the Vancouver bench. 3:15 to go in the third. And Miller steps back out of the bench.
Well, they had a couple of pretty good opportunities to get that empty net goal. And really backfiring on the Canucks, but they did a pretty good job of protecting. But here's that first hit right here. Here comes Paquette. And they had started to jump on top of him. He just let it go. I thought he was going to try and get it out of the blue line, but when they came to him, he did the right thing by shooting it at that time when they had already committed to go to him.
Miller back in net. Edler back for the puck. Lightning up 3-1 as we approach the 3-minute mark remaining in the third. Pass up the middle. Bonino tried to shovel it across. Broken up by Garrison. And Ryan Miller out to play it. He's given up 3 goals. That's almost unheard of for him. He came in with only 13 goals against in his last 9. He goes back to the bench. They the shot. Bishop a save and the whistle blows. Your Tampa Bay area BMW centers want to remind you to tune in next Thursday night. The Lightning hosting the Red Wings. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. with Lightning Live pregame. The Bolts and the Wings next Thursday night right here at Sun Sports. First meeting since early November. And Steven Stamkos with a big goal in that one. The Lightning wanted a shootout.
Well, one thing about this now with the goalie pull, the Lightning can't ice the puck. So that's the big difference right now. Before, when they were shorthanded, they could get the puck out of trouble.
Here's a shot by Rabada. Broke it up. Rebound fired wide as it came right to him from the faceoff. Hamhuis had it taken away. He works to get it back from Killorn. And Boyle tried to quickly fire it away. Lightning close ranks. Paquette and Killorn scores! He crossed the red line and let it go. Alex Killorn, 2 third-period goals. It's 4-1 Tampa Bay.
17:34 will be the time. What a smart play by Paquette. When you take a look at it, they get the puck on it. Alex gets it right here. He gives it back, but he just gives it back to Paquette. Stays in the middle. Watch it. He puts it down, and it just feeds it up to Killorn, who is above the red line. Just a nice little pass. And the Lightning regain that 3-goal lead.
Horvat angling it for Dorsett. He's forced back by Schuster. Spiza ahead for Bo Horvat. Now to Dorsett, skating for acreage of open room. He fires over the corner, going glove side on Bishop. Paquette and Hedman the assists. Play held in. Spiza the drive. Tipped by Killorn out of play. That Killorn goal is 11th at 17:34, and Hedman picking up an assist on both Alex Killorn goals.
Well, I'll tell you what, they've had such a solid effort here tonight. Everybody, right all the way down through the lineup. And the penalty kill has been outstanding. Winning big draws. Brian Boyle has just been a horse on those faceoffs in the penalty kill.
Lightning penalty kill at home, coming in almost 88% on home ice. So it's going to be pushed well over that mark with a performance of 7 of 7 tonight. Miller remains in net as Morrow cuts in, fires, save up high. And the rebound bounced over the stick of Boyle. It's taken now by Bonino. He'll stride into the Lightning zone. First wide by Witkowski. Fired to the point, and Conley got a stick on that. Canucks have outshot the Lightning for the game 27-26. 11-10 in the third, Vancouver. But carried in by Kassian. Connolly tipped the pass, picked up, and a save by Bishop on Mathias. It's fed back on the point. Edler had it bounce off his stick, and it was spotted by the linesman Nowak. Offside the call. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, telecommunication to the public, or other unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written permission of the Lightning is prohibited.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick, it's been a tremendous effort on the part of the Lightning this game before the break.
Lightning up 4-1, a minute to go. It's chipped off the glass and comes down to Stamkos. He'll play it out to center ice. The Lightning on their way to sweeping this homestand. It's the fourth homestand of 3 games or more that they've swept this year. They swept a 4-gamer in early November and actually started late October. Another 3-gamer in November. The 3-gamer right around the Christmas holidays. And now this one. It would be their 19th home ice win. And will put them in first place in the Eastern Conference going into the All-Star break. At least through tonight's games. As it's played now to Schuster with 10 seconds to go. And it's chipped into the Vancouver zone. And Spies is back for it. And the crowd celebrates an 8th consecutive home ice win that ties the single-season record for the club. Set in 2006, Ben Bishop, another strong game in net. He allows only 1 goal. The Lightning win this by the count of 4-1.